Let me tell you something most men never learn. When they think of giving a woman butterflies, they imagine candlelit dinners, poetic texts at midnight, or sweeping declarations under the stars. They believe romance is loud, that love must be announced. But here's the quiet truth. Real butterflies don't come from performance. They're not sparked by what you say, but by what you don't say. Not by what you do, but by the space between what you do. Butterflies are born in the gaps, in the silence after a glance, in the breath before a touch, in the moment she realizes you didn't try. And that's exactly why it worked. These aren't tricks. They're not manipulations. They're expressions of a man who is so grounded in himself that he doesn't need to chase her attention. He simply invites it, without asking. And when you understand this, everything changes. Here are 10 innocent, effortless ways to make her feel something so deep, so quiet, that you'll carry it with her long after you've walked away. 1. The unhurried glance. Most men stare when they're interested. Some avoid eye contact out of fear. But the man who knows doesn't stare. He sees. You're in a room full of noise. She's across the space, laughing with someone else. You don't rush to join. You don't force connection. You simply look at her. Once. Slow, deliberate, like your eyes found hers by instinct, not intention. Hold it for 2 seconds. Not to impress, not to flirt, just to acknowledge. Then look away. No smirk, no wave, no follow-up. That single glance will echo in her chest longer than any compliment. Because it wasn't performative, it was real, and real things linger. As Rumi said, what you seek is seeking you. That look says, without words, I see you, and I don't need you to see me back. 2. The pause before the compliment. Every man throws compliments like breadcrumbs, hoping she'll follow. You're beautiful, you're smart, you're amazing. But when everything is praised, nothing feels special. Instead, go silent for days. Say nothing. Let her forget you even notice. Then, one evening, as she turns to leave, say quietly, you walk like you already know you've won. Not flattery, not generic, a perception, a detail only someone who's truly watching could catch. She'll replay that sentence in her head for weeks, because it wasn't about her looks, it was about her energy. And men who see energy, they're rare. The power isn't in the words, it's in the weight, the silence before the strike. 3. The doorway moment. You're walking beside her. The door is narrow. As she steps through, your hand brushes the small of her back, just enough to guide, not enough to claim. It lasts half a second. You don't pull her, you don't linger, you don't look at her afterward. It's as natural as breathing, but her body remembers. That's the thing about touch. The mind rationalizes, but the nervous system feels. And when touch is light, brief, and utterly without neediness, it bypasses logic and lands straight in the gut. This isn't seduction, it's presence. You're not trying to excite her, you're simply existing in your space, so fully that your energy spills over into hers. 4. The story you don't finish. You're talking, she's leaning in. You say, there was this moment last week. I stood on the edge of the cliff and didn't know if I'd jump. Then you stop, look away, take a sip of your drink, change the subject. She'll ask later. Or worse, she won't ask, but she'll think about it. Unfinished stories live in the mind like unfinished songs. They loop, they haunt, they create a quiet hunger. Most men dump their entire history within 3 dates. They give everything, then wonder why she's not intrigued. But the man who leaves a door slightly open, she walks through it herself, and when she does, she's already invested. 5. The silence that speaks. You're sitting across from her. The conversation fades. Instead of rushing to fill it, you let it breathe. You look out the window, smile faintly, say nothing. She'll feel the weight of the quiet. Her mind will race. Is he bored? Is he thinking about me? Does he care? Good. Let her wonder. Silence is the loudest form of attention, because in a world of noise, the man who can sit without performing is the most magnetic of all. As Hemingway wrote, the most important things are the hardest to say, because words diminish them. Sometimes, the deepest connection happens not in dialogue, but in the space between breaths. 6. The tease that challenges. She says, I'm really good at cooking. Most men respond, wow, I'd love to taste your food. Predictable, eager. Instead, look at her with calm amusement and say, prove it. I've been disappointed before. Not mean, not cold, but unconvinced. Playful resistance is the antidote to desperation. It flips the script. Suddenly she's not being admired, she's being tested. And women don't fall for men who admire them. They fall for men who challenge them. Because deep down, she wants to earn your approval, not receive it freely. 7. The delayed text. She messages you. Hey, how was your day? Most men reply instantly. Eager, available. You wait. 4 hours, then respond. Just got back, was out in the woods. No signal. You? Not ignoring. Not playing games. Just living. When you make your presence a discovery, not a given, she feels the contrast. The absence makes the return more meaningful. You're not teaching her to wait. You're showing her you have a life outside of her, and that's what makes her want in. 8. The shift in tone. You've been light, joking, easygoing. Then one night your voice drops. Your words slow. You say, you know, I don't let many people see this side of me. Then you smile, almost like you didn't mean to say it. That moment of vulnerability, wrapped in strength, is unforgettable because it breaks the pattern. It shows her you're not one-dimensional, that there's depth beneath the surface. And now she's curious, not about what you said, but about what you didn't say. 9. The exit that lingers. You're laughing. The night is warm. She's leaning into the conversation. And just as it peaks, you stand up. I should go. Early morning. You don't drag it out. You don't over-explain. You leave her mid-laugh. Now the memory of that moment stays sharp because it ended before it faded. Most men stay too long. They let the energy die. They cling to the last few minutes, killing the magic. But the man who leaves at the peak, he doesn't just end the night. He extends it in her mind. She'll replay that laugh, that look, that unfinished sentence. And in that replay, the butterflies multiply. 10. The shared secret. Not trauma, not baggage, just a small human truth. You say, I still sleep one light on. Always have. Don't tell anyone. Then you laugh, like it's nothing. But in that moment, you've given her access, not to your pain, but to your softness. And when a strong man reveals a small crack, it doesn't make him weak. It makes him real. Women aren't looking for perfection. They're looking for proof you're human. And when you offer that proof casually, without seeking comfort, they feel chosen. And being chosen, that's the fastest way to plant butterflies deep. Now let me say this clearly. None of this works if you're doing it to get something. If you're giving the glance to make her like you. If you're using silence to make her chase you. If you're sharing a secret to get closer, she'll feel it. Women are wired to detect neediness like a sixth sense. They can smell desperation in a heartbeat. The power of these moments isn't in the technique. It's in the intent. Do them because they feel natural. Do them because you're present. Do them because you're not trying to win, so you already have. Attraction isn't created, it's uncovered. It lives in the spaces between words, in the confidence of a man who doesn't need to prove anything, in the quiet certainty of someone who knows his worth doesn't depend on her reaction. Here's the truth no one tells you. Women don't remember what you said. They remember how you made them feel when you said nothing at all. They won't recall the dinner or the gift, but they'll remember the way your voice dropped when you said her name, the way you looked at her like she was the only person in the room, even when you didn't speak, the way you left, and how the silence after you left felt heavier than the conversation itself. And years later, when she's with someone else, when life has settled into routine, a memory will flash, a glance, a pause, a touch that lasted half a second. And for just a moment, her stomach will drop, because no one ever made her feel seen the way you did. Not because you tried, but because you didn't. So here's your challenge. Stop trying to give her butterflies. Start becoming the kind of man who creates the conditions for them to appear. Live with purpose. Speak with intention. Hold your space, and let the moments happen. Not because you force them, but because you're finally present enough to let them in. Because the most powerful thing you can ever offer a woman isn't romance, it's authenticity. And when you lead with that, everything else follows. Quietly, innocently, irreversibly. Now go be that man, and watch what happens when you stop chasing and start being.